You were not born to bow to coins, digits, or the pressure of a paycheck. You were born with authority in your spirit and purpose in your path. Money is not your master. It is your tool. In a world that teaches people to chase wealth like it's oxygen, you are here to remember something powerful. Money is meant to move under your command, not command your movement. There is a difference between those who are trapped in the illusion of lack and those who awaken to their divine ability to shape their reality. You are not meant to be enslaved by the fear of not having enough. You are meant to walk in abundance, not just in your hands, but in your mind, your heart, and your energetic field. Before we go deeper, I invite you to watch this video all the way to the end. There is something in this message that is calling you forward, something your soul already knows, but is waiting to remember. If this resonates with you, leave your warmest wish in the comments, something you genuinely want to see manifest, and write 77 alongside it. Let this be a declaration, not just a comment. You are planting energy into motion. You are shifting your field. You are giving permission to the universe to respond to your boldness. One act of faith can activate doors you never saw coming. Write it, feel it, and know that it's already on its way to you. Now, let's talk about truth. Money, for all its influence, is simply an amplifier. It doesn't make you better or worse. It magnifies who you already are, and yet so many live in fear of it. They worship it in silence, fear its absence, and measure their worth through its accumulation. But you are not here to measure your soul by the weight of your bank account. You are here to expand, to evolve, and to stand in the realization that wealth is not outside of you. It is within. It starts with knowing you are worthy of it. It begins when you recognize that you were never meant to serve money. You were meant to direct it with clarity, wisdom, and a spirit that knows abundance is your inheritance. You may have grown up being taught that money is hard to come by, that wealth is for the lucky or the ruthless, that you must grind endlessly, sacrifice joy, and always worry about tomorrow. These are old paradigms. These are broken systems created to keep powerful souls like you distracted. You are not here to fit into a survival script. You are here to rewrite the story. The first step to ruling over money is to stop seeing it as something separate from your purpose. Money responds to alignment. When you are living in your truth, when your intentions are pure and your energy is clean, money becomes a reflection of that clarity. It flows to support your mission, not control your direction. Let go of the shame you've been taught to carry, the guilt around wanting more, the judgment that says spiritual people shouldn't think about money. That's programming, not truth. Wanting to live well, give freely, and experience life in abundance is not greed, it is expansion. When money is in the hands of the awakened, it becomes a force for good. When you have resources, you can create impact. You can heal, support, build, and uplift. You don't have to choose between spirit and wealth. You are allowed to have both. In fact, you are called to have both. Because in your hands, money does not rule you. It moves through you as a divine current. You become the vessel, not the victim. Take a moment to examine your beliefs. Where did your money story begin? What did you learn, consciously or unconsciously, about wealth, struggle, and lack? These beliefs didn't originate with you. They were passed down, absorbed, repeated, and now they can be rewritten. You have the authority to install a new program in your mind, one that aligns with your higher self. Start by affirming this. I am not afraid of money. I do not worship money. I am not ruled by money. I rule over it. Say it until your subconscious starts to believe it. Because when your internal world shifts, your external world follows. You must remember that money flows where value is created. You are valuable. Your presence, your voice, your gifts, they hold power. Don't hide them. Don't dim yourself to fit in with people who have forgotten their own light. You were not designed to play small. The universe expands through your expansion. Your dreams are not selfish. They are sacred. And money is not the enemy of your spiritual path. It is the support that allows you to walk it more freely. Imagine the good you could do if you had more than enough. Imagine the lives you could touch. Imagine the freedom you could embody. This is your calling. Not to chase money, but to attract it through alignment, clarity, and courage. You don't become powerful by controlling everything. You become powerful by knowing who you are, regardless of what happens around you. Money responds not to desperation, but to certainty. When you walk into a room owning your worth, when you speak from a place of self-trust, when you dare to dream bigger than your fears, money takes notice. Opportunities appear. Synchronicities align. Not because you begged for them, but because your frequency invited them. The world is not lacking wealth. It is filled with it. But only those who awaken to their own value are able to call that wealth into their reality and hold it without fear. Ruling over money is not about becoming rich for the sake of appearances. It's about becoming free. Free to express, free to serve, free to rest without guilt, free to create without the constant weight of stress. When you rule over money, you don't work harder. You work wiser. You don't grind endlessly. You flow intentionally. Your life becomes a sacred container for clarity, not chaos. You begin to live from a place of design, not default. And suddenly, your relationship with money shifts from fear to flow, from lack to gratitude, from resistance to readiness. Too many people think the answer lies in working more hours, taking more risks, or pushing themselves to exhaustion. But the true transformation begins in your energy. You could win the lottery today and still lose it all if your inner story is rooted in fear and scarcity. Likewise, you could start with nothing and build an empire if your inner story is rooted in faith and sovereignty. This is why inner work is not optional. It is foundational. Your bank account will always reflect your beliefs more than your effort. You must become a vibrational match for the abundance you seek. That's when miracles stop being random and start becoming normal. There are those who hoard money because they're afraid of losing it, and those who give it freely because they trust the source. Which one are you becoming? Hoarding is a symptom of fear. Flow is a sign of trust. When you know money is energy, you don't panic when it moves. You welcome it back with peace. You know there's more where that came from. You understand that your supply is not from one job, one person, or one client. Your supply is divine. The channel may change, but the source remains infinite. The moment you start treating money like a fearful god, you lose your authority. But when you honor it as a tool and nothing more, you remain in your power. And that power, it comes from remembering who you are. You are not just a body or a name. You are consciousness in motion. You are energy with intention. You are a soul that carries the frequency of creation. And anything you focus on with enough clarity and faith, you bring to life. That includes wealth. The universe is not against your abundance. It is waiting on your command. But your command must be backed with belief. Doubt is a signal that you've forgotten your source. Return to truth. You were created to expand. You were not sent here to struggle endlessly. Yes, growth takes work, but suffering is not a prerequisite for success. It's a pattern, one you can break. Start observing the language you use around money. Do you speak from frustration or from faith? Do you say things like, "I can't afford that," or "money always slips away"? These are not just harmless phrases. They are affirmations, and every affirmation becomes an instruction to your subconscious mind. If you keep affirming lack, your reality will match it. Start saying what you want to see. I am financially free. Money supports me in doing what I love. Every day, I become more aligned with abundance. At first, it might feel like you're lying to yourself, but over time, those words will plant new seeds, and those seeds will bloom into a new reality. No one can take your abundance away from you when it is rooted in identity, not ego. You are not wealthy because you have things. You are wealthy because you are aligned. And from that alignment, the physical things show up. But they are not the source of your peace. They are the reflection of it. When you embody peace first, you attract prosperity naturally. When you walk with integrity, money flows without force. When you lead with purpose, provision finds you. This is the way of true abundance. Not hustle, not fear, but harmony. Many of the people you admire didn't get where they are because they were lucky. They made a choice to stop doubting their vision, a choice to show up even when no one clapped, a choice to lead their lives like they mattered. And now, it's your turn. Make the choice to lead yourself into a new reality. No one is coming to give you permission. You already have it. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be willing. Willing to believe. Willing to act. Willing to receive. You've already survived more than you realize. You've already grown in silence. You've already proven that you're capable of moving through resistance. Now it's time to rise into prosperity, not just for yourself, but as a permission slip for others. Your abundance is not selfish. It is a light that inspires others to remember their own power. And when you rule over money, instead of being ruled by it, you become a lighthouse in a world drowning in fear. You become the evidence that it's possible to live from truth and still thrive. You must understand something sacred. Money is not the reward. Alignment is. Peace is. Clarity is. Money is just one of the many fruits that grow from the roots of a strong inner world. You are not meant to chase fruit. You are meant to cultivate your soil. The deeper your roots in truth, the stronger your branches in the world. When your foundation is built on self-worth, divine timing, and purpose, money stops being something you run after and starts being something that arrives because you've made room for it. It becomes a mirror, not a master. This is why the work begins in silence. Not in the market, not in the hustle, but in the quiet corners of your soul, where no one is clapping, where no one sees your effort, where you confront your fears, your beliefs, your history with money. This is where the true wealth codes are unlocked. When you begin to see yourself as already whole, already supported, already connected to something greater, you emit a signal that money recognizes. It's not about pretending to be rich. It's about remembering that you were never poor in the first place, only unaware. Scarcity is not just a lack of money. It's a lack of connection to your source. It's the illusion that you're alone, that you must do everything by force, that you have to prove your worth to receive. But that's not divine law. Divine law says you are already worthy, already chosen, already equipped, not because of your status, but because of your essence. And when you embody that essence, you begin to vibrate differently. You stop panicking when bills arrive. You stop fearing every dip in your account. You start trusting the flow, even when it doesn't make sense yet. There will be moments that test this trust. Moments when the external doesn't match the vision yet. When things move slower than you want. When it looks like nothing is happening. But in those moments, you are being called deeper into alignment. You're being asked, will you still believe? Will you still act like someone who rules over money, even when it seems money isn't obeying? Because rulership is not about circumstances, it's about identity. You rule over money by embodying the frequency of abundance, not reacting to the temporary conditions around you. And this embodiment, it shows up in how you speak, how you spend, how you give, how you receive. Are you generous even when it feels tight? Do you bless what you have, even if it's small? Do you say thank you for every provision? Or do you criticize it for not being enough? These small, energetic choices are everything. They speak louder than affirmations. They broadcast your readiness to the universe, because the universe listens to frequency, not desperation. It matches your being, not your begging. And when you're truly in your power, something beautiful happens. You stop competing. You stop comparing. You stop measuring your success against someone else's timeline. You stop looking sideways and start looking inward, because abundance is not one lane, it is infinite. There is no shortage of wealth, only a shortage of belief. The system wants you to think there's not enough, that someone else's rise means your fall, that if another wins, you lose. But that's a lie, a controlled illusion. Your abundance does not depend on anyone else shrinking. In fact, your abundance expands when you celebrate others authentically. When you clap for them, you prove to the universe that you believe in overflow, not limitation. Let's take this deeper. If money could hear your thoughts, what would it hear? Would it feel welcome or judged? Would it feel like you trust it or fear it? Would it feel like a blessing in your life or a threat? You must treat money like a relationship, because it is a spiritual, energetic relationship, one that reflects your inner state. You don't control money through micromanagement. You magnetize it through openness, respect, and trust, through faith that it will support you, not enslave you, through gratitude, not entitlement, through intention, not impulse. You're not here to count pennies forever. You're here to design systems, to create flow, to live in such clarity that money follows you like a river to the ocean. You are not meant to shrink your dreams to fit your budget. You are meant to stretch your vision and watch the resources rise to meet it. But that takes courage. It takes deprogramming years of fear-based thinking. It takes walking by faith before you see the evidence. It takes speaking abundance before it feels real. It takes being the energy first. You're not greedy for wanting more. You're simply aware that your purpose requires fuel. Money is a form of energy, and energy supports movement. If your purpose is big, and I know it is, then it will require resourcing, and you are not wrong for claiming it. You are wise for preparing for it. You are sacred for honoring it. There are lives tied to your expansion. Your financial freedom is not just about comfort, it's about capacity. The capacity to show up fully, to give, to build, to heal, to rest, to leave a legacy. Your legacy isn't just what you leave behind, it's what you live right now. Every time you choose to rise instead of shrink, believe instead of doubt, give instead of grasp, you're building that legacy. And money, when ruled wisely, becomes part of that ripple. It becomes the vehicle for your voice, the stage for your gifts, the home for your peace. And it all begins when you decide, today, that you will no longer serve money. You will command it. With humility, with love, and with bold, unwavering faith in who you were always meant to be. Most people don't realize this, but money listens to clarity. Not confusion, not desperation, not chaos. It moves toward clear vision, grounded energy, and stable intent. So if your relationship with money has been unpredictable, unstable, or stressful, it's not because you're unlucky, it's because clarity is missing somewhere. And clarity isn't about knowing every step. It's about knowing who you are and what you value. It's about aligning your choices with your higher self, even when circumstances are loud and messy. The clearer you are in spirit, the louder your signal becomes in the energetic realm. That's when money starts to respond. To rule over money, you must become a person of vision. You must stop living only for the next bill, the next emergency, or the next sale. That is reactive living. It is not rulership. Vision allows you to plan, not panic. It gives you room to breathe, create, and serve without always being on edge. Your future deserves to be shaped by intention, not survival. Begin today by asking yourself, what am I building? What do I truly want money to help me do? Not just what I need to fix, but what I want to create. That's where your power lives. In creation, not correction. People often confuse ruling over money with controlling every dollar down to the cent. But real mastery is not control, it's confidence. Confidence that you're always supported. Confidence that there's always more on the way. Confidence that you're never stuck because energy never stops moving. You don't need to chase every opportunity out of fear you'll miss out. You become magnetic to opportunities when you stand in your truth. You become a beacon when you stop acting like someone who needs saving and start acting like someone who carries answers. And yes, it takes time to get there. It takes unlearning a lifetime of fear-based teachings. It takes emotional healing. It takes spiritual maturity. But it's worth it. Because once you learn to lead yourself financially, you can't be manipulated anymore. You stop being driven by fear. You stop making decisions out of survival mode. You begin to trust your inner wisdom over external noise. That's real freedom, not just a full wallet, but a quiet mind. Your energy is more expensive than your rent. Your time is more valuable than your next invoice. And your peace is priceless. Money should never cost you your soul. It should never require that you abandon your values. If gaining wealth means losing who you are, it's not wealth, it's bondage. So ask yourself, what are you trading in the name of making it? Is the price too high? And if it is, remember, you can choose again. You can build a life that's both prosperous and peaceful. You don't have to pick one. Let's go deeper. Some people are blocked from financial flow, not because they aren't working hard, but because deep down, they're afraid of what money might change. Will people treat me differently? Will I lose myself? Will I become greedy? These unconscious fears create resistance. They tell the universe, I want money, but I'm not sure I'm safe with it. And the universe, always listening, holds it back until you're clear. Until your mind and your soul say the same thing. So ask yourself, can you hold wealth and stay true? Can you be prosperous and grounded? Can you be rich in resources and rich in spirit at the same time? You must answer yes before it can arrive. Rulership means stewardship. It means you don't just receive money, you direct it wisely. You give it an assignment. You tell it where to go, what to build, who to bless. Money without direction is chaos, but money with vision is power. That's why millionaires who lack purpose often end up empty, while those with deep purpose become magnets for provision. The difference isn't the amount. The difference is the alignment. Are you aligned with why you want what you want? This is not about appearing perfect or having it all figured out. It's about showing up with courage and being honest about your growth. It's okay to say, I'm still learning. It's okay to say, I'm still healing my relationship with money. That humility invites real transformation. Because you cannot fake your way into abundance. You must grow into it. And that growth, though uncomfortable, is sacred. Every time you catch a fear-based thought and replace it with truth, you level up. Every time you give with faith, instead of clinging with fear, you expand your container. Every time you say no to what drains you and yes to what aligns with your purpose, you prove that you're ready. Being ready doesn't mean being perfect. It means being willing to trust, willing to be seen, willing to act, willing to believe there's more for you. The truth is, you are more than your past, more than your paycheck, more than your current balance. You are not defined by numbers. You are defined by spirit. And spirit doesn't deal in limitation. It deals in overflow. The question is not whether abundance exists. The question is whether you're open to receive it. The more you step into your divine authority, the more you realize money is not the prize. You are. You are the one who creates value. You are the one who multiplies blessings. You are the one who opens doors and makes room. So don't let your energy bow to something that was meant to serve you. Don't let fear of money turn you into a smaller version of yourself. Rise, decide, declare, and move forward with the unshakable knowing that you are destined, not to serve money, but to rule over it. The truth is, most people live their entire lives trying to escape financial struggle without realizing they're still mentally trapped in it. Even when they begin to make more, they still carry the fear that it's temporary, that it can be taken, that they're one mistake away from losing it all. This is not wealth. This is financial anxiety dressed as progress. Ruling over money requires more than numbers. It requires inner safety. It's about cultivating a state of being where peace remains, even when the numbers shift. This is why it's not enough to increase income. You must also expand your nervous system's ability to hold it. You must learn to feel safe with more, safe to receive, safe to enjoy, safe to invest, safe to give. So many sabotage their abundance, not because they don't want it, but because it feels unfamiliar, because their nervous system has been trained for struggle, not overflow. But you can retrain it. You can recondition yourself to trust wealth, to allow it without panic, to live in it without guilt. Ruling over money doesn't mean you'll never face a challenge, but it means the challenge will no longer define you. You'll meet it with wisdom, not fear. You'll respond from alignment, not scarcity. You'll remember that wealth is not a straight line, it's a rhythm. There are seasons of inflow and seasons of quiet. But your value doesn't change. Your worth doesn't dip with your revenue. When you rule over money, you anchor in the truth that provision is a principle, not a coincidence. And that principle works best when you stop micromanaging the outcome and start aligning your energy. You see, money respects leadership. And leadership starts with you, with how you show up to your life, with how you treat the resources already in your hands. Are you careless with the little? Are you distracted with the blessings you already have? Do you complain about the lack instead of honoring the present? These are not judgmental questions. They are invitations. Invitations to become the kind of person who not only attracts wealth, but sustains it. Because ruling over money means longevity. It's not just about the big wins. It's about consistent, empowered, intentional decisions. It's about being faithful with what's small so that you're prepared for what's big. Money expands when it's met with structure, when you give it a clear place, when you create systems that honor your time, your energy, and your mission. Without vision, money is chaos. But with vision, it becomes a multiplier, a tool for legacy, for impact, for freedom. There's a reason why you're drawn to this message, because something inside of you is tired of living beneath your potential. You know you weren't made to repeat the same cycles, to fear every expense, to watch your dreams stay stuck in your notebook while you settle for survival. That voice inside of you, the one that knows there's more, is not wrong. It's your higher self. It's your calling, trying to break through the noise. And this moment, this conversation, is not random. It's a turning point. You were never meant to beg for opportunities. You were never meant to be enslaved to systems that drain your energy and numb your soul. You were meant to rise above them, to move with divine wisdom, to see past the illusion of scarcity and into the reality of infinite possibility. That shift begins now. It begins with a decision. The decision to lead yourself. The decision to no longer speak lack. The decision to no longer hide your gifts. The decision to no longer wait for perfect conditions to live like you matter. Ruling over money starts with ownership, not just of your finances, but of your story. Own your past, but don't be imprisoned by it. Own your fears, but don't feed them. Own your dreams, but don't shrink them. The moment you take full ownership of your life is the moment you stop waiting for money to save you. You realize you were never powerless. You were simply disconnected from your source. And now you return, not to hustle, not to grind endlessly, but to align, to move from clarity, to speak with conviction, to act with faith. From this place, everything changes because you become the person money can trust. You become the one who honors the gift without worshipping it. You become the one who gives without fear of depletion. You become the one who receives without guilt. You become the one who uses money, not for ego, but for expansion, for truth, for light. This is rulership, not loud, not flashy, but grounded, rooted, intentional, overflowing. And in your overflow, others will find permission. They will see you and remember their own power. They will witness your peace and question the lies they were taught. They will notice how you move, how you give, how you build, and realize they can too. This is how your abundance becomes a ripple. It doesn't just serve you, it awakens others. It becomes a quiet revolution. One soul at a time, one choice at a time, one bold step at a time. Everything in your life begins to shift when you stop negotiating with fear and start anchoring into truth. And the truth is this: you were never created to live in the shadows of financial anxiety. You were never designed to merely survive. You are here to build, to bless, to circulate energy in a way that not only transforms your own life, but raises the frequency of the world around you. This isn't just about manifesting more money, it's about remembering who you are in the presence of it. Money will only ever rise to the level of your identity. If you see yourself as powerless, it will always feel out of reach. But if you see yourself as a conscious creator, a soul sent here with purpose, then money becomes part of the ecosystem that supports your vision. Not the goal, not the identity, just a tool. And like any tool, its impact depends on the hands that hold it. When your hands are steady, your heart is clean, and your mind is rooted in truth, there is nothing you cannot build. There's something sacred about watching someone rise in their power without losing their integrity. It reminds the world that abundance and authenticity can coexist, that wealth doesn't have to corrupt, that freedom doesn't require sacrifice of soul. This is what you're becoming, a living testimony that financial empowerment and spiritual alignment do not contradict. In fact, they complete each other. Because when your spirit leads, your wealth follows with grace. Now it's time to walk differently, to think differently, to speak as someone who knows that they are never at the mercy of money. You are its architect, its channel, its master, not its servant. This means you stop waiting for the perfect moment and start choosing it. You stop lowering your standards to fit your budget and start elevating your energy to match your vision. You stop explaining your worth to those who can't see it and start embodying it fully without apology. From this moment forward, every choice you make becomes a statement. Every boundary you hold becomes an affirmation. Every no to what drains you becomes a yes to what expands you. This is rulership, quiet, sovereign, unshakable, and no one can take it from you because it wasn't given by them. It came from within, from the divine imprint on your soul that knows how to rise, how to lead, and how to multiply what you've been given. Money will rise to meet the version of you that no longer fears it, that no longer chases it out of panic, that no longer resents others who have it. It will meet the version of you that gives with joy, saves with vision, spends with intention, and receives with grace. That version of you exists right now, not someday, not after a certain income level, but here, in this breath, in this choice, in this powerful realization that the shift you've been waiting for doesn't require the world to change. It requires you to remember, there is no lack in your soul. There is only programming that made you forget how infinite you are. But now, you're waking up, and in your awakening, the rules change. You stop entertaining limitations. You stop accepting crumbs. You stop allowing your past to write the script of your future. You take the pen back. You write new chapters. You carve new paths. You say yes to overflow, not because it makes you better, but because it makes you more available, more present, more able to walk your path without distraction. And that path is holy. It leads to more than just wealth. It leads to peace, to legacy, to a life where your needs are met, your gifts are expressed, and your presence becomes a catalyst for change. This is what money in the right hands creates. Not just comfort, but contribution. Not just luxury, but liberation. And your hands were made for this. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not too far behind. You are ready now. So as you close your eyes tonight, I want you to breathe deeply and know that something has shifted. Not just in theory, but in spirit. You no longer see money the same way. You no longer see yourself the same way. You are stepping into the identity that was always yours. The ruler, not the servant. The source of value, not the one chasing after it. The architect of wealth, not its victim. And this new way of being will lead you into rooms you once thought were out of reach. It will bring you into connection with people who see your light. It will unlock doors that effort alone could never open. Because when you finally rule over money, you become unstoppable. Not because you have more, but because you need less to prove yourself. Not because you win every time, but because you no longer fear the process. Not because you're above others, but because you've risen above your limitations. That's the mark of someone who has truly stepped into their power. Not loud, not flashy, but certain, grounded, steady. And that's who you are now. Let it be known. Let it be felt. Let it guide every step From here forward,